Okay, we are looking at your 2019 paper, all right, and specifically section A. We're going to focus on question 2, your weather and climate GI. Okay, so first part A, what equipment would the students need to collect and record the data for the weather investigation? So all of you who answered know that you need it for rainfall, okay, and you need it for wind direction. So almost everyone is able to tell me that you need rain gauge. There's one mark. All right, and you also need wind vane, which is another mark. Okay, now one or two of you wrote anemometer. Again, I need to repeat, anemometer, it is meant for wind speed, not wind direction. Okay, now next one. All right, next one, your table 1 shows the investigation, total amount of rainfall for each wind direction. So this one, table 1 shows the rainfall for each day and the wind direction, and then figure 4 shows the total amount of rainfall for each wind direction. So that means they add up all the rainfall for each wind direction. Okay, so using table 1, calculate the total amount of rainfall that's from the southeast. Okay, so all of you managed to pick out that southeast is 1, 2, 3. Sorry, southeast. Okay, so all of you could pick up these 3, add up together is 18 mm. Okay, so that's correct, that's fine. Now, because by right calculate means that you must show the working lah. Okay, so they didn't say in the Marcus report, but next time you see it, well, next time just show the working. Okay, all right, that will be better, but I didn't penalize anyone for that. Okay, next one, you're supposed to plot the total amount of rainfall or from the answer obtained in 1. So this 18 mm supposed to plot. Okay, so 1 or 2 of you miss out this one, very careless, you lose 1 mark for no good reason. Okay, now some of you do all kinds of funny thing. Okay, this is what some of you do. Some of you just shit like that. Okay, please don't, this is not how you draw a graph. Okay, when you draw a graph, bare minimum, what I want to see is a box. Okay, I want to see a box 18 mm. Now, only after the box, if it's not clear, you want to do some hatching, then go ahead. But please don't go and do this kind of, like that. Okay, please, this is not primary school. You are Sec 4. You're graduating from Sec 4. So just draw straight lines like this. Oops, sorry. Okay, draw straight lines like this. Okay, just take a ruler and then hatch very quickly. I mean, art students will call this hatching lah, right? Okay, so just hatch very quickly like that. See, neat and clear. Don't need to draw all kinds of funny pattern. Okay, so that will be another mark for part C. Sorry, part B, part 2. Okay, now part C, this is where it's not so well done. Okay, or rather, most of you did the basics, but only a few of you managed to get the full marks. Okay, now you're supposed to use evidence from table 1 and figure 4. Okay, so as we know already, table 1 is the daily record. Okay, but figure 4 is the total. Okay, so you have 2 different measures over here. Oh my goodness, my handwriting. Okay, so one is referring to the amount of rainfall per day, one refers to the total. So you need to process both. Okay, so those of you who only use one to say whether the hypothesis is supported, well, it is not so complicated. It's not so well done as those who considered both. Okay, so the hypothesis that rainfall is always highest when the wind is from the east. So I can only look at east, because some of you go and look at southeast and northeast. No, the question only asks for east. Okay, so is we have 11, 10, 11. Is this the highest? No, because northeast. Okay, northeast is the highest one. Oops, let me change the color. Northeast is the highest one. Okay, but compared to the rest of the days, east is the second highest most of the time. Okay, and northeast is only highest for one of the days. Okay, because other days, as you can see, let me change color. this, as you can see, is still not the highest. Okay, so they are seeing whether you're able to weigh these things or not. Yes, east is not the highest, but given the majority of the east data and majority of northeast data, this northeast 14 is actually an anomaly. Right, you can see that, if you look at all three of the northeast data, this is just an exception. Most of the time, if you remove this exception, E is the highest all the time. Okay, and this is also backed by the fact that among all the wind direction, east has the highest total rainfall. Okay, so you need to use both to talk about it. All right, so is the hypothesis supported? As you can see from my color coding, is largely supported. Okay, so hypothesis is largely supported. Now, why is that the case? Talk about both. All right, in figure 4, or even you don't write a figure, okay, it's good to write figure 4 to show that you are looking at both. But even if you didn't write in figure 4, I didn't penalize anyone. Okay, so in figure 4, the total rainfall, okay, so east has the east wind direction. Oh, sorry, I'm very confused about my phrasing. Let me use the hypothesis to help me. Okay, the rainfall is the highest. Okay, now this is total rainfall, right? So let me just specify it's total. The total rainfall across 14 days is the highest when the wind is from the east at 30, 31, 32 mm. Okay, and also bring up table 1. Also in table 1, out of all the wind direction, okay, east has the let me think of a way to phrase it properly. Okay, you can do average. No, not average. Okay, you have total already. Okay, so you need to, you can say the anomaly first. Okay, however, northeast in table 1, in day 2, northeast, sorry, the highest rainfall, the highest daily rainfall is in day 2, where the wind is blowing from northeast. Okay, highest rainfall, let me put the amount 40 mm. Okay, so I've done the anomaly. So whether it's support or don't support, 1 mark. I give supporting details, 1 mark. I give anomaly, 1 mark. Okay, now if you are able to weigh the overall to say why, that would have been better. Okay, however, this is an anomaly, as the other two northeast 2 days with northeast winds have lower rainfall at 8 mm day 4 and 7 mm day 9. Okay, ignoring this anomaly, all 3 days of northeast winds, day 3, 10, 11, have the highest daily rainfall. So 11 mm, 10 mm, respectively. Okay, thus the together with the total rainfall for the hypothesis is largely supported. Okay, so this whole chunk definitely is worth more than 1 mark. I mean, if you're able to, because this is very precise, N levels exam, of course we don't expect you to write until so detailed. Okay, but if you're able to bring out such ideas that there's this, yes, I point out this anomaly, but if you look at the general pattern, other than this data point, every other data shows that when the wind blows from the east, the rainfall is highest. Okay, so those who are able to weigh that, then will be the ones who get the highest. It need not be phrased this way, it will be shorter, but if the idea is there, definitely they will give you the mark. Okay, now let's move on to number D, part D. Interested on how the wind came from each direction. Okay, how often the wind came from each direction, suggest a guiding question that could be used to investigate the wind direction. Okay, now some of you put how often does the wind come from each direction? Okay, yep, there's nothing wrong. But it'll be even better if you think geographically, like which is more, which is less. Well, which is more, which is less. Okay, so for example, does the wind blows most often from, let's say, a direction, maybe north? Up to you to pick. Okay, that would have been a better guiding question than a generic one like how often. Okay, not wrong, but just a way to think about it. Okay, now part E, explain how the students could ensure that data collected is reliable. Like I told you all before, when you explain reliability, okay, you need to talk about how is it representative. All right, so some of you said collect data at more sites. Why? So that one mark. Why is that the case? Well, so that if there's more sites, it will account for changes in, to ensure that differences in rainfall and wind direction is not caused by the site, but variation in weather. Okay, making it more representative to show the relationship between rainfall and wind direction. Okay, now you all might feel, wow, so much to write. Well, this is a shortcut for you. Okay, then you tell me the second one, collect data more times in a day. But actually this one I will actually advise against for this question, because rainfall, it's not like it's going to rainfall 5 times a day. Okay, so it doesn't make sense to read 4-5 times a day. All right, so maybe you want to take over, collect data over more days. Now this already has done like 14 days, 2 weeks. So if you just say collect data over more than 1 day, you have not really answered the question. Okay, so maybe you want to say over 1 month. Okay, so to ensure that differences, that data differences in rainfall and wind. This one I taught you in the notes already, right? It's not caused by anomalous weather within the 14 days. Okay, so if you do that, then you can combine both. The last part is actually generic for all, right? So you can just put these will make the data more representative to show the relationship of the relationship between rainfall and wind speed. We go back to what the hypothesis is about. Okay, not the wind speed, sorry, wind direction. And hence more reliable to show relationship. Yeah, done. Okay, so this is what you can look out for. All right.